We'll start with the opening statement.
Okay. You know, first of all, gosh, hard-fought game. Brian, coach there, is a good friend of mine. I hated it got to, the technical there and all that type of stuff, but that's part of it. He was intense trying to fire his team up, and I respect him for that. I thought wasn't the sharpest game that we played. I thought we left. I thought a lot of points on the table. I thought we tried to get a little too cute a number of times on the fast break, but I also thought we were gritty. I thought we were hard nosed and defended and rebounded and had enough offense going to, of course, to get the job done. But again, I think in certain games you've got to be able to make sure you take advantage of advantage situations on the break where you got more guys than they do. And we would steal it. We just didn't convert very many times. And I think had we done that, of course, I think we could have had a little more of a comfort zone there toward the end. But I was proud of our team. I thought they were, like I said, hard-nosed and tough. It was good to have our seniors go out the right way. Of course, one of our goals this year was to finish the home season undefeated. And, it's very, very hard to win a Division I game. It's very hard. And of course, good teams can win on the road. We've been able to do that for the most part as well. But before you can establish winning on the road, you have to establish winning at home. And back in the 1st of June when our team got together and we had an opportunity to sit down and set some goals for our team. One of our main goals was to be undefeated at home. And it's not easy when you look back over the course of the season how many tough games there were, and to be 15-0 is not easy. And so I'm very proud of our staff and our players. But just a good win. It kind of keeps us in the hunt, and we got 2 tough ones next week at Old Dominion and Texas State, where we're going to be playing for first. So that's exciting. And but I also think we've got to kind of get our swagger back a little bit. And what I mean by that, our sharpness. Just the last couple of games, I think that we've got some areas that we need to improve on. And but overall, very, very proud of our team.
Coach, I know you're going to hate this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Where did you guys go? I mean, from last game to this game, what was different about it?
I thought we played with a lot more focus. Of course, I don't think, let me just say this. Sometimes over the course of a 31-game season, you're just not going to play well. And we prepared well for that game. South just played better than us. I mean, they got off to a real fast start against us. They played very well. They're playing well. And I mean, I'd love to make some excuses, but they're no excuse. They just played better, and I don't think our effort today was a ton different than it was down there. It wasn't like we just turned it around. But of course, one of the hardest things to deal with as a coach, and I still don't know how to deal with it, is overconfidence and complacency. But again, when you get beat, you get grounded, and all of a sudden the players will listen a little bit more and things like that. But I just thought South Alabama played better than we did. They played it incredibly well, and we didn't shoot the ball very well. But I'll be honest with you, we do a lot more, Hunter. We judge good shots, bad shots, not whether if it's a guy that is shooting the shot at the right time. And even though I thought the way the game was played, it dictated we had to start playing a little, shooting it a little bit faster, trying to make up that deficit. But our shot chart, and I mentioned this in the post-game radio show, I mean, we were all over that basket. And generally those shots go, or you get fouled, and we weren't getting either. We just weren't. We didn't have a good game offensively. And again, if you're a baseball player, you have times where you don't hit you may go 0 for 4, and that's just the way it is sometimes. So I'd love to say that we didn't take South Alabama seriously, but we did, and they just beat us. That's just all there was to it. So we had to just package it, put it behind us, and let's get ready to play today, and we were able to do that.
Coach, have you ever seen anybody more amazing than number 2 for you? Alvarez.
Alvarez. He's a dynamic player. He is a very, very dynamic player. I'm going to kill him here in a minute when he threw the ball off the backboard there at the end. Well, he was, and again, but you got he's high risk, high reward, but he's an outstanding player, outstanding young man, tough. Unfortunately, he's missed 17 games. I mean, where would we be, if he'd have been able to play all that through and continue to grow? Because he's really just kind of getting back to himself. But of course, he hasn't shot it well. And then tonight he hits a number of threes because people now begin to play up under ball screens against him and so forth. But he's a good shooter. But basketball takes time. You get your rhythm back, and he missed a lot of basketball.
Seems to be getting more and more confident.
No, confidence is not his problem. I can promise you that. He's ultra confident. He's and I love that about him. He's got some swagger about him.
What was the full explanation when they give the two DQs?
Very, very simple. The rule is, and I have to give the officials credit, I thought they did a good job of diffusing it really quickly. And nothing really ever happened. You had two guys just kind of go face to face with each other. Of course, the game was hard fought. It was very intense. That happens sometimes. And Coach Williams and, of course, their assistant both went out to try to, along with the head coaches, both to try to get out and keep anything from escalating. And but the rule is, when the officials went back and looked at the film, the rule is that the only person that can come off the sideline is the head coach. I think it's unfortunate, and the officials even agreed that they didn't want to enforce it, but they had to enforce the rule as stated.
Two more questions for Coach.
Does he get is he disqualified for the next game? Can he be on the bench?
I don't think in college there's any type of I'm not sure. Yeah, thank you. No.
If you told the average fan that you would go 15-0 and do it for the first time since 2011, 2012, what would you tell them, and just talk about the story?
Well, I want to say before, and I was going to say it if I didn't even have the question, but I appreciate you asking that question. I can't say enough about our fan base and how they've energized and got behind this team and their loyalty. I mean, we went to South Alabama the night. I'll be honest with you, I felt really bad because we had a huge crowd down there. And Charlie, y'all know, and y'all were there. And so I felt bad about that. I even was saying that, talking about the timeouts. Guys, we gave all these people, give them something to cheer for, get them behind us. And, but they have done that all year. But that's the way we it's the build it and you'll come. And, of course, we finally put a better product out there on the floor. And because of that, our fan base has come back. They'll support you, but you got to, at Southern Miss, look, I'm one of them. I know, I grew up here. You got to win. You got to win. They expect you to win and expect you to compete for championships. I cannot say that enough of how grateful that I am, our players and our team, and how much it means the great crowds that we've had over the last couple of months. And they have impacted winning. I'm very, very thankful. If they wouldn't have grabbed me on the post-game TV down there, I was going to get on the microphone and tell them that. And, of course, that I didn't realize I had to do that. But I'm saying it now, and I hope they'll understand how thankful we are.
Do you have a question, Dima?
Yeah, just several times in the game it looked like you kind of mentioned a second ago, the team kind of getting too cute, as you said.
Yes.
Throwing it off the backboard. How do you kind of like rail that?
Well, it's a little bit of a fine line, but there's a time, you want to make sure. I mean, how many times did we leave points on the board? We win by 11, but probably there were 5 or 6 times that we tried to lob or try to be cute with the ball. And again, I love that. The showtime part of basketball, and I think there's a place for it. It energizes the fan base, but there's also a time, hey, the basket becomes more important, and I want our players to understand that. And I thought, I just thought there were a few times we got too cute. I'm just calling it like it is, and of course they know how I feel about that too, and we'll address that.
So you took your jacket off a little bit too?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Y'all been on me about when I had the gold blazer on looking like Coach Turk, and y'all are too young to really remember Coach Turk probably, but he was famous for almost every game. He would take his gold blazer off and sling it and throw it up in the stands and people been making fun of me saying that I look like Coach Turk, but you hadn't thrown your coat. And then I just didn't happen to have it on tonight. Otherwise, maybe they would have been happy. They'd get off me about throwing it. But I was just frustrated because we need those baskets. I want to go ahead and finish that game out.
Last question.
Coach, after what you went through the last 3 seasons, nobody deserves this turnaround more than you do. Thank you and good job.
Well, that Brian, appreciate you saying that, but I can tell you it's way more than me, and I appreciate that, and whether I deserve it or not deserve it, I don't know. It's not for me to say. I'm just thankful to be here, thankful to be the coach here. This is a city and a university in a state that I love, and I'm just happy that it turned around. And I will say this: we're very blessed. I'm very blessed that we've got a great administration, coaching staff. And a great group of players. And we had two sets of deals that happened. We had players that came back when it wasn't the coolest thing to do. And then we had and they trusted the process enough, and maybe they just trusted the relationship, or maybe they just didn't have anywhere to go. Everybody had a different deal. And then you had another group of guys that wanted an opportunity, and that but how it's not easy to talk some a young man in that's a good player to come into a place where you only won 7 games, and maybe things aren't looking up, but they've been a blessing from day one, and I mean they really have. They have been the most fun group to coach. You can coach basketball with them. You can every day you can coach basketball, the X's and O's and the tactics and strategy, and that's what I love about them. And they're the same. And everybody, of course, we lose pretty good at South Alabama. I'll give you this just last little scenario the other night. And, of course, my phone after the game, what happened, and are they okay, and this and that. They were exactly the same team the next morning they were the prior morning. They were exactly the same team this morning. That's why I was telling Hunter, we just got beat. We just got beat. And but they have been amazingly consistent the entire year. So I'm very thankful, most of all, for our players, our fan base, our support group, everybody, our staff, everybody associated with our program. Very, very thankful and grateful. But we've got 2 more tough ones, and we got to get on the road. We got to go to Old Dominion, which is a very difficult place to play, and then turn right back around on Saturday and go play at Texas State, who gave us fits here.
Wow. Thanks, Coach.